was a preemptive attack. Even before I get on, you got me there. Okay, everybody good? Everybody good?
Better than ever, Rabbi.
What?
Better than ever.
Better than ever. Wow.
Baruch Hashem.
What was that?
Just said better than ever, Rabbi. Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. Okay. So where were we up to? So yesterday I left you with a pretty fascinating. I subsequently realized I looked, hunted around a little bit on the internet, and this has stirred. Obviously, I wasn't the first one to discover America, but there's a lot of discussion on this. If you look on, there's a great website. I don't know if anyone knows of it. It's an old friend of mine. I'm not sure if Mordechai remembers. Mordechai, you learned in Chavetz Chaim also?
Yes, correct.
So a good friend of mine, maybe ours, Rabbi Yitzchak Adlerstein.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Remember before I went out west. Sure.
Yeah, so he has a website, and I think everyone here on this page would find it fascinating. It's called Cross Current, 2 words, Cross Current. There's a few, but 2 words, Cross Current, and he has a lot of very intelligent discussions on a lot of interesting Jewish topics, and he has a series of back and forth between Avi Shafran and Avram Gordimer and a bunch of others, and he himself weighs in. So this has been already going on for a week or two since that first letter came out. And so it's interesting debate. So, but the only thing that came to me, and again, I'm not saying that there's an actual, it's actually related, but just an interesting, there's something occurred to me, and I was just started looking into it, is historically, there was a sort of a similar seesaw between the Jewish community on which side of the debate they would find themselves in the early 19th century with Napoleon and the Tsar. As many of us know, the French Revolution, obviously, and Napoleon's efforts to conquer Russia. He nearly made it. He did make it to Moscow, but I think then he turned back. And he ended up on, what island was it? What was the island that he found himself on? He was isolated and at the end of his life, and he was, anyone remember, Bernie? It never came across in a crossword puzzle. What was the name of the island that he went to?
I was thinking Corsica, but I'm not sure at all.
That's where the mafia was.
Devil's Island, was it?
No, it wasn't Devil's Island. Yeah. What was the name of the island? It was a famous, okay. Someone will Google it while I'm talking. Anyway, so Napoleon, although it sort of echoes, the left wing, Napoleon initiated emancipation. He wanted equal rights for everyone. But even Napoleon, it's documented that his goal of giving everyone equal rights, including the Jews, was that he stated specifically to assimilate the Jews. They would assimilate. That was his goal. He certainly, although I think he considered himself a Roman Catholic. Again, I'm not a historian, but the tidbits I pick up and what I do remember, the smidgen of information I still remember from high school.
Saint Helena.
What?
Saint Helena.
What was the name of the island?
Saint Helena.
Saint Helena, that's it.
And before that, Elba.
Elba, that's it. Elba, right. That was right afterwards, right. Yeah. Oh, we got some historians here. So he was a Roman Catholic, but certainly he didn't believe in religion. And I think there were many statements of his against religion, and he didn't believe that there was a deity that ran the world, but rather, power and control. And of course, he wanted to bring about equality, but the goal was that the religion would be diminished, and the Jews. I think part of that plan was also with the Sanhedrin was also to create. He had I forgot it was consistories or something like that, little groups of governing councils of Jews throughout Europe that he sort of gave them autonomy to a certain extent, but really it was that he controlled them. And then he wanted to give in the Sanhedrin, and he put a mixture of different rabbinic figures. It was, I think, due to Reb David Zitzenheim, if I'm not mistaken, who was also, he was a Rav of Strasbourg. He was obviously a traditional Rav. And he sort of was like Lahavdil, the Nancy Pelosi of his time, trying to slow down any decisions. They never made any decisions. Sanhedrin disbanded in the end because they never got anywhere because they just kept putting up debates and debating and pushing it off, and they never got around to it. But at any rate, at the end, so here was Napoleon was set to conquer Moscow. So they developed a great division among the Hasidim, especially, and it's not clear who were on two sides, but certainly the Baal HaTanya was a big advocate of the Tsar. He felt that Napoleon was a klipa. I'll soon read to you an interesting letter that his son, I think it's his son, the Mittler Rebbe wrote. I think that the Mittler Rebbe was the son of the Alter Baal HaTanya, I believe, and he felt that Napoleon was the incarnation of the devil, and he foresaw rightfully that his influence, although it may give Jews more freedom, and they wouldn't have to live with the pogroms that was prevalent under the Tsar, even though the Tsar did have certain alliances with the Jews and certainly with the Baal HaTanya later on when he knew that he was his ally. He did give him certain, I think he gave him a lifetime, some sort of a title that, he would be a citizen of the land or something like that, that still continued for many generations, that gave them the ability to do what they did in the course of the years over in Russia over the 200 years subsequent to that. But at any rate, the other forces, and not clear, was Reb Menachem Mendel of Rimanov, was clearly for Napoleon, and allegedly the Maggid of Koznitz, although he was first, I think, an antagonist, but then later on he came around, and this was a big debate between the different great Hasidic leaders, and the Baal HaTanya was fire and brimstone, and he lost his life. I mean, he lost years of his life. I think eventually he died. He was running away as Napoleon was heading towards Moscow. He kept running with his whole family and an entourage deeper into Russia. Eventually, I think a short time later, he died because he was just so worn out from running away. And the story goes, I think, that the Baal HaTanya, on a certain Rosh Hashanah, the year that I think Napoleon came to Moscow, even though it was sometime later that he retreated, but there was a battle who would blow shofar first on Rosh Hashanah, the Maggid of Koznitz, I believe, or the Baal HaTanya, and they felt the first one to blow it would be the winner of this debate of L'Shem Shemayim. Who would be the better option, Napoleon or the Tsar? And allegedly, the Maggid of Koznitz got up early, davened early, and he blew shofar. But they realized later on that the Baal HaTanya, because he wanted to blow shofar, and he knew that his blowing a shofar would somehow herald in the Shemayims a victory against Napoleon, he blew shofar before davening Shacharis that year, so that the shofar was blown. And the Koznitz Maggid said, the Baal HaTanya beat me to the punch. And the end was that Napoleon was defeated, and as we know the history as it goes. So here it was, and part of the debate was, part of it was that the Jews in the Polish Jews, that they felt that and those in France and those regions felt that the freedom would give them for the first time in hundreds of years some rest from the persecution that they were, and the poverty that they were living under. And they felt that, that would bring, and some of them saw it also, just when I picked up, some of them saw it as one of the Simanim HaMashiach. It's one of the Simanim HaMashiach is that the world will go to Minus, will become heretics in the end of time. And they felt that was one of the Simanim of the Gula, let him come and foist his non-belief, and that'll be a heralding of the Mashiach come and the battle of Gog and Magog. The Baal HaTanya felt that Napoleon was a Sitra Achra. He didn't deserve, he would, and he foresaw. The truth is, it did. It caused a tremendous assimilation among the Jews. What generated Haskalah, but also what allowed Hasidus to flourish and all that. And eventually the Muslim movement that came as a counterforce to Haskalah. But at any rate, it was a great battle. So here you had the some Jews were backing the left-wing Napoleon, And you had some, the other Jews, like the Balatanya, well, the Balatanya against all of them, he was backing the Tsar, even though he was pompous and also out for authority, and he was pretty brutal. But nevertheless, one of the things he mentions that although Napoleon was willing to give equality to people, but the Tsar was a believing. When they had victories, they attributed to God, whatever religion, the Greek Orthodox, whatever it was that they worshiped, they followed. But he was much more of a religious believer, and he felt that was a part of the destiny of the Tsar to win. So here you see it in history. It's not exactly the parallel, but you have the left wing who want to give us rights, but you know what they really want. They want to infiltrate the educational system. They want it to be, we shouldn't be separate. We should be assimilate. And also, of course, the other aspects of society that we're living in and the freedoms that they're giving, which wear away at the fiber of morality and values of Torah values. And as Rabbi Wein said, and if you heard it, I mentioned here, if you ever found it on the internet, he said if Biden wins, the left wins, America's over. And he says you look at through history, whenever the non-believers, whenever Ta'eva and all those other things came into being, it didn't herald well for the masses. At any rate, so there's a letter here. I'm just going to read a quick letter. So I have just 2 minutes. The Middle Rebbe writes about this. It's interesting. It's quite mystical, but I'll just read you one little excerpt here. It says, Napoleon, one who raised himself to say, it is all my strength and power, and removes any thought or belief in Hashem. Such a person Hashem will cast down to complete downfall and humiliation in order to show him that only Hashem has power. We clearly see that his downfall came because of his pride and ego, saying to Hashem, leave me alone. It is known how he used to make fun of people who believed in Hashem. And Napoleon, may he be uprooted and destroyed and leave no remnant. The true goodness, however, is the exact opposite. As it comes together with humility and bittul, to believe that it's not one's own power and strength that gives him success. For even if one is extraordinarily successful, he doesn't take the credit for the success. On the contrary, it is clearly as daylight to him that only Hashem decides the fate of wars. Therefore, he places complete faith in Hashem to guide him on the proper path. This attitude is clearly seen by anyone who knows even a little bit about our master, the Tsar. Could be this was just buying him. This might have been politics, but he said that he may be glorified in his ministers' life. We also saw the humility and how greatly they trust in God. Even now that he was victorious, he does not take credit for himself. Rather, he says that victory came from Hashem. Okay, and there's this. The most important thing is, and he says that his father, the Alter Rebbe, used to say about the foundation of Jewish belief, that only has a secure future under the rulership of the master of the Zohar, maybe, for he believes in Hashem and appreciates those who serve God truthfully. As such, he wants to strengthen the Jewish faith and certainly does not want to uproot Jews from the faith at all. Anyway, that's more or less a little bit of a synopsis of what went on and maybe some sort of parallel what's going here. Now, I'm not sure Trump, I guess, is a believer. I'm not sure more than perhaps the left wing. He just thinks he's God. That's the only problem. He thinks he's God. But I'm not sure. So I'm not weighing in here and just sharing you my streams of consciousness here because I have such a great audience. And that's it for today. I got to go to the Mincha. Something for everyone to think about. Hashem will continue tomorrow with some other streams of consciousness. And it's great to hear if anyone has something to weigh in tomorrow. More than happy to have everyone share it and their thoughts and look on Cross Currents and elsewhere. You'll find some fascinating discussions. There's Hi Heshi, Vox, and there he is, my namesake. Okay, everybody. Hi, Zach. Everyone be good. Everyone good night. Shaya, Steger, Kilroy, see you. And Bernie and Mordechai and Metz and Chalavin is there also. I'm saying good night.